Hey guys, Emily from Bob's Watches. Justin and Ripley are back for another episode of Watch Talk. This week we're exploring some exotic metals and some other special edition watches. You don't want to miss it.
Also, if you haven't done so already, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can stay up to date on our latest video content.
We've got an awesome lineup we can't wait to dig in and show you, but you know what's coming first. We've got a wrist check. So, all right, Justin, you're kicking this one off.
This week I'm going with the Rolex Batman on the Oyster. Love it, great watch. I think it's my favorite colorway of the current GMTs.
Oh yeah.
It's always a winner.
And now we actually have to ask this. This is the 1-1 or the 1-2 series?
Yep.
This is the 1-1 series.
Okay, so the original Batman.
Yep.
Okay.
The OG, we like it. All right, Rip, what have you got?
I have my Omega Speedmaster, reference 3572. This is the one with plastic on the front and a sapphire display case back. They don't make this configuration anymore, so I'm happy I have one. And it's kind of the best of both worlds because it looks like a normal moonwatch on the front and you still get to see the movement.
I would take that anytime, but
It's a good
today
choice.
I actually chose a white dial, date just 41. I love the Roman numerals, it's definitely my thing. Kind of going with that black and white play today. Easy enough.
Good looking watch.
I know. Speaking of good looking watches, we have got a lineup for you that we cannot wait to show you. Don't forget, at the end of this, we will be picking our favorite watches of this week's lineup. So to start, we've got this beautiful ice blue Daytona. Ripley, tell them about this one.
Well, not including the off-catalog crazy gem set stuff, this is the most luxurious execution of the current production Daytona. It's solid 950 platinum, whole bracelet, with a chestnut brown ceramic bezel. It first appeared in 2013 to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Daytona. Everyone thought they were getting a steel model, but they got the opposite of that, platinum with a ceramic bezel.
The opposite indeed.
Yeah, very much the opposite from price.
They got the steel look, similar,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, just about 3 times the weight.
Exactly, right, yeah.
But it's got a nice blue dial, so it's instantly recognizable. At a quick glance, it kind of looks like the steel model, but it is very different, and the ice blue dial, which Rolex only fits to platinum models, is the telltale sign that you're not dealing with white gold, you are dealing with platinum on this one.
Yeah, indeed.
It is incredibly heavy, and the solid platinum bracelet only makes that even more of a reality, but it is one of the most distinct Daytonas. There's no diamonds on it, but it certainly costs as much as one with diamonds.
It's an eye-catching piece, right? Even though, like you said, it looks similar to the stainless version, but you're not getting that ice blue dial on a stainless version. You're also not getting the chocolate brown ceramic bezel. And the ceramic bezels, it's just very slightly brown to me. It's not, you don't notice it. I mean, the sunlight, it really shows up, but it's dark. It's not, you know, it's not an outlandish color. It's not very different.
It's different than the brown on the GMT. Yes, it's
slightly
very different. Yeah,
right?
it's a darker brown. And it's not a combo, I would think, if someone's like, pick a color to go with ice blue.
So
brown
right.
is, yeah, brown is far from the top, but I think it looks great.
It does. I wouldn't have chose it, but like you said, it looks fantastic.
Yeah, and if I was in 2013 looking to buy a steel Daytona and this is what appeared, I'd probably be upset too, but I think it's kind of stepped into itself, and I know a lot of people are after this watch, so.
Yeah.
It's a gorgeous watch.
Is this the only platinum that's available right now?
Only platinum reference. They do offer this with a couple different dial variations, so you can get it with baguette, diamond hour markers, also an ice blue, which, I mean, if you're going to get a solid platinum Daytona, lean into it, get the diamond
You
dial.
might as well go all the way, right?
But you don't get the lume on that regard, so this is, functionally speaking, the identical to regular Daytona. It's just a overtly luxurious execution of it.
How do you feel, and Emily, probably even more so to you, how do you feel about the weight? Because it is heavy watch.
Well, if you drop it on your foot, not only will you be possibly making a trip to the Rolex Service Center, but you will also probably have to amputate the foot and potentially repair the floorboards of your house. It's incredibly heavy, but it behaves on the wrist like no other watch. There's no jingle or fall. It's like Thor's hammer.
Solid, right.
It is what it is, and it's pinned to the earth.
I don't mind a heavy watch, and you know, I don't have any problems wearing a heavy watch. I could see you wearing this watch. I'd imagine that you would put that on your wrist pretty quickly. How would you feel about the weight?
To be honest with you, I feel like I would know that I'm wearing it. I would probably make me be a little bit more careful throughout my day. But also it's kind of just like, once you get into lifting weights, that weight becomes sort of your standard, right?
Yeah.
So like, yes, you can tell the difference, but after a few wears, you're probably used to it at that point, I would presume, because this is not a part of my current collection. I don't think I'd mind it. I would say the first time would probably be a little weird. I'd notice it a little bit more. Maybe my arm would be sore at the end of the day. But to be honest with you, with a look and feel like this, I wouldn't mind it. It wouldn't bug me.
And then all the stainless Daytonas would feel light from then on. It might just ruin all Daytonas for you
Yeah,
where
I'd
that's the
probably
only one
have
you can wear.
Yeah, and
You're
let's be honest,
right.
if
Expensive taste.
if you own that watch, you probably have other watches, so if your arm really does get tired and you need a break, I doubt that's your single only timepiece you own.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Gorgeous watch. We don't see very many of them at all here, right?
No,
I
we
mean,
don't.
this is a couple, maybe.
Yeah,
This is
we
like
don't
number
get in
2,
many.
I think we've seen.
Yeah, don't get in many, and happy to have one here.
Yeah,
it's beautiful. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in our next beauty. We have got a rose gold day date if you want to help me. Honestly, this one catches my eye no matter what. You can kind of speak to it a little bit better than I can.
I mean, another heavy watch. It's 40 millimeters, so it's not the Day Date 2, which had a 41 millimeter case. It's the more refined version, 40 millimeters. It's the current production model. It's got this lovely olive green dial, which, again, not an obvious color combo. If you said green and yellow gold, sure. Green and white metal, obvious. Green in kind of a warmer tone, not necessarily your immediate go-to, but I think it looks lovely here, and is also a heavy watch because the bracelet and the case, bezel, everything's 18 karat.
Yeah, that's the winner for me on this one, is that color combo. That rose gold and the green, it's gorgeous. It's not something that Rolex has never done. I mean, you know, they do have green and gold, and, you know, we've seen them on other things like the Daytona. Granted, it's not rose gold, but it's that green and gold color. And this is just another iteration of it that I think it's beautiful. It's more refined, I think, too, than the than the yellow gold. So being on a President, I think it's very appropriate and just luxury feeling and beautiful.
I agree. I also can't get over the kind of half attempt at the Roman numerals. It's actually not fully Roman numerals, if you can kind of see. Why would they do that?
Balance, I'd imagine.
The attention to detail, right?
One of my biggest qualms with Roman numerals in general is, when you think about a stick dial, each marker has one single index, and on a Roman numeral marker they can have several. Like the hour marker for 3 would be 3 lines, 4 typically 4 lines, or sometimes you have the I and the V depending on the style that the watchmaker chooses. On a dial like this, if you had it full Romans all the way around, it might look a bit cluttered. This, it gives it a nice space and lets you focus on specific Roman numerals rather than trying to differentiate one set from the next.
And it's done really well. The way they use the stick markers, it looks cohesive. Like, you know, when I think the first time I mentioned to you, you didn't even notice right off the bat that it was a full Roman numeral dial, which is awesome. See, that's perfect. That's exactly what they're going for. They want it to look like a Roman numeral dial without being too cluttered and too busy, and I think it's just a great execution.
It also allows the green to kind of shine through a bit more too, and really kind of complement that rose gold that it's working with. It's just, this to me is absolutely.
And it's a little bit of a sleeper for a green dial roll. Like if you want a green dial sub, you want a green dial Daytona, you want a green dial OP, good luck. You know, everyone's after these watches. You want a green dial Rolex, well, here you go. And it's probably not the model that first comes to mind, yet it is a gorgeous one and a very luxurious execution of one at that. So,
and it's not something that someone has probably seen or is going to notice or has the same watch. If you want, you know, it's a conversation piece and it's something that's going to be new when people notice it on your wrist.
Exactly. It's definitively different. It's not another green Submariner. So if you had the Kermit, you might not get the new current production because they're a bit similar as far as the black dial with the green bezel. Rose gold with a green dial on a larger day date. It's a unique look. It's a really pretty one, and it's one I'd love to have on my wrist.
I like this one a lot.
I agree. All right, let's bring in this special edition Omega Seamaster. Ripley, if you will help. This one. All right, I'm going to say 2 words. James Bond. What else have we got about this one?
Yeah, this is a cool one. So historically, I mean, James Bond has been wearing Omega watches since '95, but in the past, the models he'd wear on screen were regular models out of the catalog, and then they'd make special editions that were James Bond themed that had various design elements. And then starting with Spectre, the model that was the special edition James Bond watch was actually the one the actor wore on screen. This model continues with that trend, although we haven't seen the movie. This is the one on the still upcoming film No Time to Die, which because of the pandemic's been pushed back.
Didn't Daniel Craig have a say in the design?
Yes, he did. So he's a big watch guy, Rolex collector, Omega collector. And for this one, they consulted with him pretty heavily as far as the actual design of this watch. Silhouette is very similar to the regular Seamaster Diver 300, but this one, including the mesh bracelet, is grade 2 titanium. So it's very lightweight, super practical, and very, because there's no polished surfaces, it has much more of a tooly feel.
Definitely tool.
And continuing that, it leans very in the vintage direction. You see there's the tinted lume, and another interesting thing that kind of continues with the vintage aesthetic is that the bezel insert as well as the dial are made from a type of aluminum that's intentionally designed to fade over time. So it's going to kind of tend more towards a tropical brown as the gets sunlight exposure and the years wear on.
So they're kind of encouraging that patina and aging, right? I mean,
Yep.
they've thought about it, and rather than waiting 20, 50, however long it takes to get that natural patina, they're hoping to speed up the process a little bit and get you that real life patina that it would acquire with age just a little bit sooner.
And a unique patina, so they're not, artificially aging it in advance before it reaches you. I think what they're kind of going for is that after a number of years, they are going to end up different in the same way that after several decades, a genuine patina would end up. They're just looking at a way to kind of shorten that timeline.
That's great.
And then beyond the rest of it, it doesn't have a date window, as you'll notice, unlike other versions of it.
Oh, yeah.
And it also has a ton of military markings. So you can almost think of it as a prop watch that is made commercially available and you can buy in Omega's catalog. But if you flip it over, you'll notice that the case back, it's not a clear case back like the standard issue. You see the Ministry of Defense broad arrow, you see Omega's own markings, you see a little 007, but all those numbers you see on there, they all mean something. They're actually, Ministry of Defense markings, what you would find on an actual watch issued by them. So think of it as a prop watch, think of it as a 007 watch, but it is a really unique Seamaster, and since none of us have seen the film, I'm wondering if it's going to have any gadgets.
You noticed something on here that felt very Omega. The skeleton hands.
Yeah, it does. And like Ripley said, the silhouette is, very similar to Omega's. It has the kind of, not Omega trademark, but kind of Omega trademark skeleton hands on those Seamasters.
Yeah.
But they're done with, like you said, the tinted lume. And so it has that Seamaster feel without being, a completely different watch. But also James Bond branded. I guess James Bond branded isn't the right word, but it's like you can tell it's a special edition. It has the vibe, exactly.
Yeah.
One thing I like about it is that in all the James Bond watches, some of them are very heavily 007 James Bond branded.
Yes.
To me, a little cheesy on some of the things. Some of them have, the gun barrel spiraling, and there's 007s in
Yes.
all kinds of places. Some of those I think are really interesting. Some of them I think are maybe a little too much. This one is not. It has, like you said, the military markings, which are really cool, and it has the feel without being such a in-your-face branded version of a James Bond watch.
Yeah, I think it was a smart move for Omega to start creating commercially available versions of the watches worn on screen, so you didn't have such a sharp divide between what the actor wore and the model intended to commemorate the film. It is a Seamaster, but between the bracelet, the material, everything else, it's not. And so I think it's a really cool alternative. And if you already had a Seamaster diver, this is a great second one to pick up that offers something completely different, but also pays homage to this long-standing relationship between Omega and the Bond franchise as well.
Definitely. And before we move on, I feel like we can't...
The weight.
The weight is great. It's titanium.
Yeah.
I really like the way it feels on your wrist. It's comfortable. You forget it's there almost instantly. But no, I was going to talk about the bracelet or strap,
that mesh.
where it's really, really well done. And the way they've done it, where they have the holes and the clasp, it all works together and it fits. Wow. If I can get it, there we go. The way it all fits together. And just the way it was engineered and designed, it's really comfortable. It's really well done. It looks great. I mean, that was a real highlight for me the first time I saw this watch. I definitely took note of that strap.
Really clean.
And it also, with not having the fitted end links, definitely plays into the vintage vibe as well, and further separates it because you're not going to find a mesh bracelet on any other model from the Seamaster collection right now.
Right.
Except the Ploprop, but that's a whole other thing.
Yes.
It's time to move on to our next piece. This very unique Panerai Luminor. You can quickly tell that this is unique for one specific thing. Ripley, I'll kind of let you again take the details on this one.
Well, it's left-handed. You don't see that all that often from Panerai. Our camera's not reversed. Normally, the crown guard and that notable Luminor crown guard bridge would be on the opposite side of the case. It's on the left hand. It's a 47 millimeter case, which makes it a bit unusual. And as you'll notice, Panerai's 90% of the time is dark dials, largely
That's
black.
what I noticed first on this
Yeah.
one. You don't see a lot of light dial Panerais.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what you have is the kind of the tinted lume on the hands and the sandwich dial. You have this light kind of beigey sand colored dial itself, and then you have the actual hands are kind of a gilt finish, so you have this very kind of monochromatic aesthetic, which sort of pays homage to the vintage Panerai watches where the radium radium-based radiomir or the tritium-based luminor would just burn out the dial, or there'd be some moisture in there. And then finishing with that vintage, it actually has a plastic crystal. It's got an acrylic crystal on this one and a sapphire case back, just like my Speedmaster.
That's a cool touch.
So nice.
So you have a very vintage aesthetic from the front, but you've got a modern Panerai movement inside, and it's a limited edition, 250 pieces. So a proper limited edition, only a handful of examples.
Very small, yeah.
You can't get these anymore at Panerai retailers because those 250 went quick. We're lucky to have one, but I know it's one of those hot models because for the Panerai collector, you might have a slew of black dial luminors, you might have a couple blue dials, maybe a green on a bronzo, but you probably don't have this one. And between the left-handed configuration and that very striking dial, it's distinct, and I think it's really cool.
It's definitely desirable. And the left-handed configuration, even me, being a right-handed person and wearing the watch on my left hand, the left-handed will not deter me from this watch at all.
Really?
I actually kind of like it because Panerais are a large case, and I have a very average size wrist. So having the crown on the other side actually adds a little bit of comfort for
Frees
me.
you up a little bit.
Like I don't mind the crown on the inside at all, personally.
Yeah, I'm actually with you entirely. It's such a large crown guard, and if you have it at all kind of loose on your wrist, it's going to be hitting the back of your hand.
Yeah.
With this
Right.
on it, it's a very trimmed overall package, and since it's a time-only movement, you're not going to be doing a lot of manipulation of the crown on a daily basis. So, you wind it, you set it, you forget it, and the whole left-handed thing doesn't really play much of a factor.
What do you think about this one? Would you wear it? It's a little more of a
I
masculine
was going
piece.
to
It's
say,
really
the
big.
47 is quite large. I do actually thoroughly enjoy a larger watch as a whole. I'm not so sure. The kind of color combination here is very beautiful to me. It's something I think I could work into my kind of overall watch mix, but I don't know. I can't say that it's really screaming to me. Sorry to all the Panerisi out there. It's just definitely not something that's screaming to me. But I would definitely love to see you guys in it. I'm sure it would be nice, and I guarantee you I would comment on it. It would catch my eye no matter what.
You would definitely notice it.
You would, and
Yeah.
at that point I can give props when props are due. So, great one.
All right.
I'm going to bring in our last one, which may be a little bit more my style, you'd think. We have quite a gold, glitzy Rolex President. You can quickly tell some feminine details have been added to this one.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's the 31 millimeter date just in solid 18 karat yellow gold, but as is customary for the lady date justed midsize, they have fitted it with a President bracelet because it's a very luxurious execution of it. On top of that, you have a factory diamond bezel, and if you know Rolex's diamonds, they're flawless, and the setting itself is beyond expertly done. But the party piece of this watch, I'd say, is that dial.
Yes.
Definitely.
It's diamond paved, but it also has these mother of pearl butterfly motifs. I don't think I could pull it off either from a size standpoint or a stylistic one, but when you loop that dial, it is absolutely
It's beautiful,
stunning.
right?
I would own it to look at it, maybe not wear it out, but it is amazing to look at. When you see a lot of diamond paved surfaces, there's a wide range in terms of quality. It can kind of just look like it's been shotgunned in there. It's really carefully thought out. Lines match up, corners match up, and yet it's a very asymmetric pattern as it works around these kind of anachronistically placed butterflies.
But it's well done. The way that they're weighted towards the bottom and they're
So say
almost
the balance
like
on
the
this one
gradient,
alone.
they're
Flowing upwards,
fluttering
yeah.
out.
Yes.
I think they're very thoughtfully done, and it looks really nice. The final product.
This one screams perfect Mother's Day watch to me. My mom would probably cry if this were her gift, but it is beautiful. I mean, honestly, I would wear it just as much. Maybe not a daily, obviously. This is quite the piece, but
It's an eye catcher.
it is.
Yeah.
It is. Someoe's gonna see it and say something,
Yeah.
no matter what.
It is, and what's nice about it is because of its size, it's a bit bigger than your average 26, 28 millimeter Lady President. It's noticeably smaller than the 36, quite a bit smaller than the 40, and so you have a lot going on as far as the diamonds, the mother of pearl, the solid gold, but it's not so big to the point where it's a in-your-face statement piece.
Sure.
It's a statement piece, but about as refined as you can have, given it's a solid gold diamond encrusted
Yes.
Rolex.
Definitely.
The perfect kind of jewelry touch
It
for
is.
any outfit
It's
or
not
special
understated.
event.
Yeah, and it's not small. It's not something that you're hiding. It's not, a little cocktail watch that kind of blends in perfectly
So
with your
true.
outfit. Yeah, it's definitely.
It's that subtle statement, if those could really.
And a rare dial
together.
configuration. There's a lot of
Yes.
people with gold presidents. It's probably the most iconic gold watch in whatever its size is. Plenty of them have diamond bezels. I don't know if I've ever seen another one of these in person. It's one of those ones you knew exists. I don't think Rolex still offers
First
it.
time I've seen this.
I don't think
I
Rolex
haven't seen it in a
offers
while,
it
no.
anymore. I might be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure you won't find this option available on their website anymore. So there's a handful of them out there. They're lovely, and if it's your style, grab one because it's, you don't see them at all.
You see a lot of conservative stuff, a lot of, especially Presidents. It's the more classic, even the ladies, the more classic dress watch, very conservative. If you want to add a little bit of style and a little bit of flair
Yes.
without, going completely over the top, I think this is a really
Yes.
classy way to do it.
Yep. And you know how I fare with watches? I'm more of that unique look and feel. I don't like to see other people wearing what I have. So this is definitely kind of falls into line with those sort of things that I look for from a watch perspective, which probably is a great segue. It's time to make our picks for our favorite watches of the week. Ripley, we'll let you go first.
I don't think
Which one are you taking? No budget.
No budget, gotta keep it. I'm gonna go with the Platinum Daytona. I don't know how there could be any other one. I think all the watches here are great, but if you're telling me I gotta have one thing on my wrist and it's wear it every day, I'm gonna be that guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it.
And when you see the car I drive, no one would even believe it's real anyway, so I'm not gonna get robbed for it.
It's an added bonus.
It's a beauty. You've got a good one. I would ask to maybe trade a watch from my collection to yours to wear it a couple times. Justin, what are you picking?
There's some nice stuff here, but I got to go with the Daytona as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate to double up on it, but it's just too good not to, right?
It's a tough one
I'd
to
call
pass
you
up.
a liar if you didn't.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's an amazing watch. I would love to wear it. I would have no problems wearing that every day and being completely happy.
Being that guy?
Yep.
All right. Well, I am going to break the mold on this one. Although I do love this, and the weight is not deterring me. The color combo is not deterring me. It's just, you guys, I cannot get over this rose gold Day-Date. I think that the perfectly kind of balanced look and feel from the rose gold with the green dial, with the Roman numerals even just sprinkled halfway through. I need this in my collection. This is definitely going to be my name. And to be honest with you, I think it would be something that you guys would like to swap when you wear your Daytona. It'd be something that we could kind of trade off.
I would absolutely trade a day for that. Right?
That's a fair, solid one to swap for a day, and probably my wrist would probably fit yours as well.
And
I'm surprised you're not getting the yellow gold.
I
You get yellow
know.
gold
I was
everything.
just about to say I'm not really a rose gold person, but this is something that I think I could easily work into kind of a regular wear. It's kind of easy to pair with, not necessarily a special occasion needed, and that's maybe why I'm more or less leaning to it. I wouldn't call it a daily. I'd maybe call it like a weekly for me, but the butterflies are beautiful. Again, I kind of said it earlier. Something I would love to kind of gift to my mom. It would just be something that, you could tie it into her being unique and this watch being unique, but I guess I lean more on the actual practicality maybe of the Day-Date for me. It's a stunning watch and I love it.
This one's a little different looking too. The other one's very beautiful and really elegant looking, but this is a little bit different with the green and the rose gold, which I think is kind of your
The
style.
diamonds are very glitzy. The green and the rose gold to me is just perfect. Absolute perfection.
And with the Roman numerals on there, I know you like a good set of Roman numerals.
I really do.
Yeah.
I really do. But these are our picks for the week. We definitely want to know what your guys' is. Be sure to drop what you're picking this week in the comments. We can't wait to see that. We will definitely be back next week with our 5 favorites then. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. That way you can stay up to date on all of our latest content. So until then, we'll see you next week.